I'm Nicole Rafiee and I am partnering with NOCD. I'm 25 years old, I am a YouTuber, and I've been diagnosed with OCD since 2021. Thankfully, I am living through a time where OCD is being destigmatized and I think understood a little bit better thanks to NOCD and thanks to more people talking about their actual experiences with OCD. I think for so long it was so misunderstood and not clearly understood by anybody who does not have OCD because we don't have like clear examples of what OCD actually can look like. We obviously see TV shows and movies where it's like not very well represented, and then the actuality of what OCD looks like is like not perfect. It's not palatable, very much so, to the regular everyday person who does not struggle with OCD, and so it can be a bit jarring. It can feel a bit like trauma dumpy if you actually want to talk about what your OCD actually treats you like. On top of that, it's really hard to talk about, and it's not something that I want to talk about with just random everyday people. Unless I'm willing to, like right now. But my day-to-day life, like I am not going around and talking to people like, yeah, I have OCD, like, yeah, this is what I'm going through. Like, it is something that is very private to me because sometimes it feels extremely embarrassing and also extremely suffocating. Something that I wanted to keep hidden for a really long time was my experience with having this obsession and this theme around pregnancy. I was very afraid of getting pregnant through therapy, ERP specifically. I think I have an idea of where this may have stemmed from. I used to watch this show called I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant on TLC as a small kid. And it would basically show a bunch of women who did not know they were pregnant, and they would have like cryptic pregnancies, or they would be pregnant for a whole 9 months and would have no idea. And for some reason that just stuck to me. And as someone who is unsure if they want children, that's something very, very scary to me. Also, I live in America, so the time that we live in right now where we're not really sure if my freedom or my rights would get stripped away, depending on what I would want to do with an unplanned, unexpected pregnancy. Yeah, it's something I care a lot about, and it's something that brings me a lot of anxiety. I would say though in 2020 and 2021, it was at its absolute peak and at its worst. I've definitely recognized now that I'm older, these little things that crept in when I was a child. Like I would be like 10 years old and in the shower, and I would have a normal sized belly. I was well fed. I had a good, nice dinner, and I would look down in the shower and be so extremely scared that maybe I was pregnant. So much so that I was like punching myself in the stomach. Like it got there. It got bad. And this was not something I want to share with anybody at all. Also growing up religious, the thought of Virgin Mary. Anyway, in 2020, my mom was going through chemotherapy and was sick with 2 cancers. So it was a very, very stressful time on top of the pandemic. I was mentally not doing so hot, okay? Which now I can look retrospectively and see this high stress situation definitely led to my OCD being so much more heightened, except the issue is that I was not getting treated for OCD because I didn't know I had OCD at all. So I did not know what was going on when I was so paranoid all the time that I was pregnant, and I was running out in the middle of the night to go to CVS to go take a pregnancy test, and then also having to dump the pregnancy test somewhere so that nobody in my life would find out that I was secretly taking pregnancy tests. Mind you, it was physically impossible for me to be pregnant. Just want to throw that out there. But that is just how severe it had gotten. This made summers very, very difficult when I wanted to wear clothes where I am showing a little bit more. I'm wearing tighter t-shirts. I'm not wearing baggy clothes all the time. Suddenly I became obsessed with body checking because I felt like that could somehow maybe be an indicator that I was pregnant, which means that beach trips were really, really hard on me. And it's not just one time that a beach trip ended up being kind of ruined by my OCD. If I had a nickel for every time that a beach trip was ruined by my OCD, I would have at least 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened at least twice. I remember one particular time I showed up to the beach with my friend, and this was my first time meeting his partner, and everything was okay, but seeing myself in a bathing suit really, really triggered my OCD. And being a little bit bloated convinced me that I must in fact be at least 7 months pregnant, and I have no idea about it, even though I've been actively getting my period every single month. And I took a test and they were all negative, and I'm on birth control. Now, this was my first time seeing my friend in quite a while because of the pandemic, and this is my first time meeting his partner. And I know some of you might be struggling with truth telling with OCD, which feeling like they have to constantly tell the truth even though it's not anybody else's business. And that is exactly what I did. I spilled everything. Barely a hello, how are you? Just basically a whole, yeah, I think I'm pregnant. I think I'm actually like 7 months pregnant. I'm really worried. I stayed up all night. I didn't get any good sleep. I don't know actually how I drove here. And I'm really paranoid that I'm pregnant. I honestly might be taking a test. I think I have OCD. I actually do know that I have OCD. I think something might be wrong with me, and I don't know how to tell my family about it. And I don't think I want to tell my family about it. Maybe I should take a test here. Maybe I should take a test while we're here. Do I look pregnant? Do I look like somebody who's pregnant? Do I have physical indicators that I might be pregnant? And it's safe to say that that beach trip was not the most relaxing for everyone involved. Not to mention another time when I went to the beach. I don't own a scale. I hadn't even stepped on a scale in a very long time at that time, but I did see that I gained weight. Why? Because I was eating yummy food. There's multiple factors as to why I gained weight, but that's neither here nor there, nor very important. The weight gain only bothered me because of the potential that maybe this was an indicator that I was pregnant. And so a beach trip, once again, with my family this time, was ruined. In retrospect, I love going to the beach, okay? I love being able to sit out. I love sitting there with my little Kindle. I love reading my little books. I love dipping my little toes into the sand. I love spending time with my friends. I like going to Wawa beforehand and getting a hoagie and hot pickles and iced tea. I like all those things. And I hate that OCD had ruined so many different beach trips for me, not only with my friends, but with my family. Because in the moment, there's nothing that you could say or do to convince me that I was not pregnant. A test didn't matter. My period did not matter. And so these days where I was supposed to be having fun were like very tortuous to me because I had to see my body. I had to feel uncomfortable. I was around friends and I was 100% convinced that I was pregnant and that I wasn't getting the treatment that I needed because I wasn't aware. And that was absolutely terrifying to me. Because in the moment, it did feel like the worst case situation. On the outside, it may look like, I am an anxious person about this situation. In actuality, I really felt like it was the end, the worst case scenario. Like that was my worst moment ever. It's really, really nice to be able to be reflective and looking back on my experiences with OCD like that, because now that I have been in ERP treatment and have worked with an OCD specialist and have gotten proper treatment for my OCD, that means not talk therapy, it is very wild to see how much of a difference I have made because I am able to go to the beach now and not worry about being pregnant. I'm able to go to the pool and be in a bathing suit and not worry about being pregnant. I'm able to look at my body and not be body checking and checking to see if I am showing signs of pregnancy. I think the absolute biggest indicator and thing that I'm the most proud of myself for, I had recently lost my period for health-related reasons, completely unrelated, and I was able to manage the situation, something that I don't think I would have even been able to do a few years ago. I really don't know what would have happened to me had I been in this predicament a few years ago. But being able to look at 25-year-old me, being able to handle literally losing my period, and being able to go to the doctors and take a pregnancy test, it was negative, by the way. Being put in this situation recently has made me reflect so immensely how far I have come with my OCD treatment, because OCD no longer controls my life. And I really genuinely mean that, because a few years ago, it was ruled by OCD. The obsessive thoughts, the intrusive thoughts, the constant checking, that is not something that is actively part of my life right now. I could not be more grateful. Being able to practice not seeking reassurance, not allowing myself to body check anymore, not allowing myself to take multiple pregnancy tests a month anymore, not sending literal photos of my body to my friends to ask them if I looked pregnant. Yes, that is something I would do. It would be like midnight and I would wake my friends up, texting them pictures side by side of my body, because I needed to know, because I needed to hear another opinion reassurance seeking. I don't Google pregnancy symptoms anymore. These are genuinely things I would not have been able to do a few years ago, truly. And that would not have been possible without ERP therapy. I don't even want to start to think about the things that I would potentially miss out on in my life had I never started ERP therapy. I don't think I'd be living in New York right now. I don't think I would have the friends I have right now. I don't think that I would have the freedom or a lot of the experiences that I've had these last few years. To be completely transparent and honest, I don't know if I'd be here right now, because that is how much OCD had controlled my life. And for the absolute worst. Although actively I am in remission or recovery with my OCD, I know that I can contact my therapist who is specialized in ERP and OCD treatment. I know that I can reach out to her and get that help whenever I need it. I know that although it may feel so taboo, there are so many other people who have also experienced what I experience. And it does not feel like I'm the only person in this entire world feeling this feeling anymore. If you have related to anything that I have mentioned and you're not sure if what you're experiencing is OCD or not, NOCD can help. Will match you with one of their OCD trained therapists who will provide you with the care that you need. Go to NOCD.com and book a free call. Just know that a few years ago, I went from a place where I was like, I am at a point of no return. It is not possible to help me. And now I'm sitting here a few years later being like, I'm in recovery with my OCD. I feel like I'm in a much better place. I do not experience these symptoms anymore. There is so much hope for you. So please go to NOCD.com to book a free call. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you give it a like and also subscribe. Thank you so much, NOCD. And just know that you are not alone with what you're experiencing.